Our book 4, Force, is back with its third and final season, picking up the action right where it left off. And I can't wait to see how this epic finale is gonna begin. I know you're just as impatient as I am, so in this video, I'm gonna talk about the ruthless enemies we'll see in the very first episode of the new season, what Tommy is gonna do against all these challenges, and the biggest one, the surprise name who's gonna help Tommy. Buckle up because Tommy Egan is back in full force. The very first moments of the new season will pick up right after the season 2 finale, so don't worry, we're not gonna miss out on any action because of a time jump. As you know, Miguel Garcia hated Tommy, and to take revenge, he kidnapped his own sister, Mireya. And then we saw Tommy angrier than we had ever seen him before. We all know what happens when Tommy gets that angry, right? Without any plans, loading up with all his guns, he's probably gonna storm Miguel's spot. And here we may see Tommy tearing everything apart and rescuing Mireya from her brother's hands. Even crazier, in the season 3 teaser, we see Mireya in Miguel's spot holding a gun. In another scene, we see someone holding Miguel in a lock with their arms. If we put the pieces together, it looks like Tommy locks Miguel up and leaves the job of killing him to Mireya herself. But I think Mireya is only gonna spare her brother's life on one condition. Either that he never stands in front of her and Tommy again, or that he helps them take over Chicago. Miguel is gonna accept this just to survive, and right in the very first episode, we may see the shocking twist of Miguel suddenly going from enemy to Tommy's ally. But do you think Miguel can really team up with Tommy? Let's meet in the comments. Now, Miguel's possible siding with Tommy is definitely gonna make things easier, but come on, when have things ever stayed easy in the Power universe? That's why we're gonna see Claudia Flynn and Mirkovich, who Tommy locked up at the end of season 2, getting out of prison way too easily and showing up against him right in the first episode. We know that to avenge Liliana, Tommy didn't just throw Claudia in prison, he even had her stabbed in there. But getting rid of Claudia, who has been one of the best villains since the very beginning of the show, is not going to be that simple. In the first episode, I think we'll see Claudia still carrying her stab wound but starting to heal. Then maybe using that injury as an excuse, or maybe with a completely different reason, we'll see her getting out of prison. And as soon as she's out, she's gonna start plotting her revenge against Tommy. And with whom, you might ask? Of course, with her partner, Mirkovich, because Mirkovich is right at the top of the list of people who want revenge against Tommy. Just when he was about to secure absolute dominance in Chicago, Tommy stepped in his way, so once he's out of prison, Mirkovich is gonna start plotting too. And here's the real bombshell. Mirkovich is not coming out alone, because he's gonna meet King Kilo inside prison, and we know King Kilo is about to get out, ready to tear CBI apart to avenge his nephew. So we're gonna see King Kilo and Mirkovich teaming up against their common enemy. By the way, don't let the fact that Glenn Davis, the actor playing King Kilo, is in prison in real life scare you, because filming for season 3 wrapped in July 2024, while he didn't go in until October. So we're probably gonna see King Kilo in every single episode of season 3 from start to finish. Do you think this trio can take Tommy down? Let me know in the comments. I know that's already a lot of enemies. So now we need to talk about the ones who are gonna stand by Tommy's side in this war. At the top of that list, of course, is Diamond, who has been by Tommy's side since the very beginning. We know that at the end of season 2, things weren't going well between Tommy and Diamond, but as soon as they see their enemies uniting against CBI in episode 1, Diamond is gonna regroup with Tommy, and together they'll start pulling CBI back together and making plans. And in the season 3 teaser, we already see the two of them back at it, blowing up buildings, raiding spots, just like before. We also see D-Max strapped with a gun in the teaser. He's most likely going to finally wise up and fully take his place as one of the most important soldiers under Tommy's command from the very first episode. Alright, Tommy's side is looking strong again, so let's talk about the rats, the ones waiting for a chance to stab him in the back. And when we say rat, the first name that comes to mind is, of course, Vic. Tommy figured out in season 2 finale that Vic was working with the FBI and he was ready to kill him. But in the first episode of season 3, instead of going after Vic, Tommy is gonna rush to save his girlfriend, Mireya. so we can say Vic is safe for at least the first episode. But in the season 3 teaser, we see Vic being drowned by someone, and I'm certain that the people behind this will be Tommy and Diamond, the very ones he betrayed. As for the other rats, Shanti and Junard, they're going to be way more dangerous than Vic, because from both the teaser and the photos we've seen, it's clear they've managed to keep hiding their real plan from Tommy, and in the first episode, we'll see them keep pretending, still helping Tommy with his plans, all while hiding their betrayal, which means Tommy's gonna have to stay sharp every single second. Now it's time for the real surprise. With all these enemies and all these rats, who's the one that's gonna help Tommy finish his Chicago story? It's none other than Tariq St. Patrick, who's just now becoming Ghost. We saw in the final scene of Power Book 2 Ghost that Tariq was getting a call for help, and as we know from the original Power, Tommy and Tariq had already promised each other that whenever either of them needed help, they could call. So if we connect the dots, the one calling Tariq has to be Tommy. And to add even more hype to the crazy action of the whole season, it's very possible that at the end of the first episode, we'll see Tariq show up at a CBI meeting saying, "Whose Christmas are we canceling?" But there's another possibility too, that Tommy fights all season long against all these enemies on his own, and just when he's about to be killed, Tariq steps in and saves him. One way or another, Tariq and Tommy are going to come together, and we're going to see Chicago's underworld fall right into Tommy's hands. And here's another nice little detail. After their Chicago story is over, Tommy and Tariq will continue their partnership, expanding their criminal empire across the world in the brand new spin-off Power Legacy. Which means every single scene with Tommy and Tariq in Force Season 3 is going to be pure gold, so be ready. Now that we've gone over what may happen in the very first episode of the new season, let's talk about when we can watch it. Power Book 4 Force Season 3, the final season, arrives on November 7, and with a total of 10 episodes, this action-packed marathon will close out the series. Now, it's your turn. What do you expect to see in episode 1 of season 3 of Power Book 4 Force? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you want to know what's going to happen in the 5th and final season of Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, check this video out.